Welcome to the rebuild of AEK, a fallen Greek giant with European glory in its DNA. But here's the challenge. We're not stopping until we win the Champions League. No shortcuts, no season limits. This save does not end until AEK are kings of Europe. And we'll be doing it all with the most controversial setup in Football Manager. The most hated 4-4-2. The exact tactic I dropped on the main channel yesterday. A little fun fact. AEK were the first Greek sides to ever qualify for the Champions League group stage. Now we're aiming to finish what they started. The tactic and save file are up on the Patreon, along with the entire rest of my rebuild files. So be sure to go and check it out, get involved. And today, AEK, they'll become Champions League winners. With that being said, I'm not entirely sure how long this will actually take because they've got some decent players to compete in the Greek league. They are predicted to finish second, so over in Greece, they can do their job relatively, not easily, but they've got a decent enough team to fight for it. But when it comes to the Champions League, we are miles off the pace. We are talking significant improvements and a lot of stages throughout a club's rebuild like this, which I'm going to explain when we go through the team sheet and go through the tactics, because there's going to be a lot of changes when you look at the faces that are at the club at the moment. Obviously, there are a couple of faces that you will recognise, including Anthony Martial, who I'm sure will do brilliant in the league. But as for the Champions League, I'm not too sure what he's going to offer me. But before we even look at any of that, let's go over the club a little bit. So they are a club that have won 13 Greek Super League, 16 Greek Cups, 1 Greek Super League 2 South, 1 Greek Super League 2, 1 Greek National C Division Group 6, 1 Greek League Cup, and 2 Greek Super Cups. So they've definitely done their bit in Greece, but of course have not really done too much when it comes to European football, which today I am going to change. Now, I will say, obviously, predicted second in the league, so expectations are high when it comes to Greek football, and we are actually playing in the Conference League in Season 1. Now, although it would not complete the challenge by any means of the imagination, it will be a really good indicator to see how well we are and prepared for European fixtures, because even in this competition, obviously the sort of qualifying rounds, we're not going to have too much to deal with, you know, teams that we probably should be beating even with a team like AEK. But when you get to the latter stages, if we do, you can play teams like West Ham, you can play some pretty big teams over in England, and of course some good Serie A sides as well. So there is going to be a bit of a challenge in this competition, and I'm actually quite interested to see how well we actually do regarding that. Now, money-wise, we are going to be using the latest database from Sort Out SI. That is the paid one. I have paid for that to make the videos better, I will be honest, because a lot of people obviously have seen the same thing over and over in terms of budgets and stuff like that. Now, we have got a club with zero debt, so instantly we are off to a small positive. When you've got no debt, it does mean you can pretty much spend what you want to spend. Now, because we're not playing on an outdated database, we've got the latest transfers, as you can see right now, with the likes of obviously Luka Jovic as well coming in, and Grucic, one of my favourite midfield players from my Porto livestream save. We've actually welcomed him some pretty good players, you know. If you actually look here, the likes of Marin as well, not a bad midfield player for the Greek league. He will absolutely cook. You've also got this man in Felipe, centre-back and left-back, not half bad either. But the main one, of course, is going to be Luka Jovic, in my opinion. Super striker for this league anyway. Been around a little bit, hasn't he? Been around from club to club. Never really stood out anywhere, but in this league, I think he can get the job done, and I think he could also put a few goals away in European competitions. And do you know what? The same can be said for Martial as well. I'm not going to lie, he's not a world-class striker, but in the Greek league he's going to do very well, and I do think in the Champions League there's for a couple of seasons he can bag a few goals, so quite excited to use them if I'm being honest between me and you. Now, when we actually go and look at the tactics, again, any part of this video you want to grab the tactic and the save file and all these perks, you can do so by going over to the Patreon. There is still time to enter the big giveaway this month. It's just got announced literally yesterday. It's our record-breaking giveaway, and there is still 30% off, so make sure you are going to get involved, and we're close to pushing now for 6,100 members, so make sure you go and check it out. But this tactic on paper, it might look quite reserved, and it is fairly reserved, especially in the midfield, and I've done that because in the league we can go attacking. I think we can take on anybody in the league, but when it comes to the European competitions, we might struggle a little bit. Now, The only thing that I can ever see myself changing in this tactic is dropping these CMs into DMs. If we talk about the latter stages of the Champions League, being competitive in that Champions League, I think maybe the central version might be a little bit too much. So that might change when we get to a certain point of the rebuild, especially if we do achieve any sort of good deep line playmakers, Sagando Volantes, whatever path I want to go down, we might opt for that sort of area. Now, the team on paper, what players do I know? What players don't I know? So I do know Grucic. I know Ellison, I know Jovic, I know Martial. Martial, of course, the former Manchester United man. Is he world class? No. Is he old? Yes. Can he still score goals? Of course he can. Is he injury prone? Yes. This guy is a mixture of everything. Not always good things, just to clarify. But him and Jovic up front, I think we can win pretty much everything in Greek football from season 1 onwards, because that's actually a really good striker lineup. Now, this whole part of this video, the whole point, is nothing to do with Greek League, Greek Cup. I want to win them for the video and for the fans that watch this, the AEK fans, but the Champions League's where it's at. So we are going to get excited when we win the Greek stuff a couple of times, but when we're winning it relentlessly, it's going to be, you know, it is what it is. But what I want to quickly say about these rebuilds and this squad, if we actually pull up the squad planner, for example, I cannot stress how many times you will see a different batch of players. I'm going to say it right away so it's very, very clear. Because the thing is, when you rebuild a club like this, even with a player that has got a year left on his contract, with the budgets that you get at this club, sometimes you can't afford to have them on massive contracts, so you do it by a year-by-year basis. They get picked up on the free by Saudi clubs, their release clauses get popped, the attraction of top European clubs. We are going to see a constant cycle of teams, probably until the new gen start coming in, where we can afford to lock them in because they're on lower salaries and we can have them on longer contracts. So we are going to see a different batch of players a lot in this video. This is like the first generation, don't want to sound like the iPhone, but it is like the first generation of AEK players in this video. Now, when we look at the actual team on paper, we have got a good goalkeeper, of course, the former Lazio man. I have used him before. He's not too bad. He is 30 though, so he can help us for a couple of seasons, probably not, to be fair, 3 or 4 seasons, unless there's a really good centre-back, because I'm about to talk about centre-back, a good goalkeeper on the market. Centre-backs, I'm a little bit worried about, because I think they're not bad. When it comes to the Greek League, in Relvas, obviously the new man, and also Mukadi, I think I've said that right, they're not bad, but when it comes to Champions League, I think they are going to get butchered a little bit. The same can go for the wing-backs as well. Roto at right-back, he's got a bit of pace about him, but can he hack, you know, playing against Mbappe? That I don't really want to see. Penreese as well at left-back, similar vibe. I'd actually say he's a little bit better on the defensive side by one statistic, so still not exactly great, but I do think in the league, these guys are going to be fine. But when it comes to the Champions League, we have got a lot of building to do. But luckily for us, in Season 1, that's not even my worry, is it? Because we've got only Conference League. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to go into Season 1, just see where we are as a club, because it might not be pretty, or we might actually surprise ourselves and go on and win the Conference League. Who knows? Let's go and find out. Well, when it comes to actually that Conference League, we are going to get into the round of 16 out of the groups, and we are going to play Shakhtar and beat them 4-1. Now, they are a beatable team, I've got to say it very, very honestly, but to beat them 4-1 is actually a really good result. The quarterfinals, we go on to beat Young Boys, which again, are definitely a beatable team, but super nice that we are actually dominating these games and not just scraping by. And okay, that's a bit of a shame, because we actually nearly got to the final against Palace, which probably would have been a bit of a tough game. Did they go on to win that? We don't actually know yet, but Fiorentina are going to beat us by a goal. But do you know what? For Season 1, that's not too bad. You can see here, Martial and Jovic are going to be your top goal scorers. So it was probably the defensive side that we did struggle with a little bit. But overall, I'm not too gutted with that. I'm actually quite happy. A decent performance, it has to be said. And when it comes to the rest of the stuff, we do go on to win the Greek Cup 3-2 over Olympiakos, which is really, really impressive. A good statement. And we go on to win the Greek Super League. So it is going to be a quick Greek win. I just wanted to get one season out the way just to see where we were as a club. And quite clearly, we are at the top of Greek football instantly. 15 points over Olympiakos. Panathinaikos down in 4th. PAOK inside of 3rd place. Martial with 33 goals. You've got 2 of our players here with 18 assists and 13, the second most clean sheets, and not one, not two, not three, but 4 players in the average rating. And I imagine, as a club, yeah, we are outscoring everyone, most dribbles, fewest conceded. The data hub, yeah, we are absolutely cooking. So, a very, very strong season. This is actually quite nice to see, because we now know that at least we've not had any issues when it comes to the Greek side. We've won the Greek Cup, we won the Greek actual league. I think we can play in the Super Cup next year, and it's not an awful run in our first European stage. And we're right into Champions League football, so hopefully we've got a little budget to follow. Let's go and see. Money-wise, we are going to have £18 million. Now, obviously there's zero debt, so we can go and spend all of this £18 million, but this is why these rebuilds are super fun and super challenging, and probably why you guys request them, because the budgets to start with are so minuscule. Now, 18 million's a lot compared to a Vanarama team, but when you're talking about building a Champions League winning squad, 18 million doesn't get you very far. Now, luckily for us, the team that we've got on paper is doing bits. I mean, you've got 35 and 10 for Jovic, you've got 56 and 12 for Martial. Our winger, 11 and 40. This man here, I did say I knew him, he is honestly incredible. Great pace, great acceleration, great crossing, good dribbling. His finishing and composure aren't the best, but he can put a ball in, and quite clearly has been doing that. Koita, 10 and 20 as well. The left back and right back also done quite well. Off the bench, obviously, we are rotating the squad quite a lot. You've got Marin with 4 and 11, Zine with 10 and 2, 2 and 4 coming in there. We've got Perot with 7, we've got 4 coming in for Vida. You've got 5 and 10 for Katesa. You've got a lot of players chipping in with the goals here. So, at the end of the day, I do honestly believe that this team, we might never drop a Greek Super League. We might win everything in Greece repetitively. Genuinely, that could happen, because this team is relatively good on paper. And the big thing about it that I want to talk about is the contract status of Martial and Jovic. So Martial is in contract until 2029. I made sure I put some of the money to keep him at the club, and the same is going to be said for Jovic. So luckily we have got these two at the club, unless they get tempted by other clubs or release clauses or whatever it is, for quite a fair few years. Now, are these going to win me a Champions League? I'm going to be honest, I don't like to say it, but probably not. But they are going to play a big part in keeping me up to date with winning stuff in the Greek League, and also building up the squad. As long as I've got 2 strikers that can sort of do the job, I can spend the money elsewhere, which is going to be across the entire back line, maybe a couple of better backup midfield players. You know, Grujic is a really, really solid option, a very solid player who's here until 2028. But he is already 30, and his teammate Pineda is also 30. So very good players, but they are getting on, and we've got to prepare for that. We're here for God knows how many years. We have to prepare for the future. But the positive side is we're in the Champions League in Season 2, and we have just stormed the Greek League and the Greek Cup, and we didn't even really get embarrassed in the Conference League. We were one stage off getting to the final. So I am quietly quite confident. And when you see the calendar and actually how well we're playing, we are rarely losing a game, to be honest. When we are, you know, a goal deficit, goal, couple of goals, you know, pretty much every game's only by a goal. We're not getting battered at all. We rarely draw games as either a goal loss or a blistering win. We have got a very good team on our hands here. So let's get into Season 2 and see what we can do. Well, with limited finances, I couldn't really sign many people because it was a panic to give people contracts, and we have had a lot of people leave on the free who didn't want contracts despite being offered pretty attractive pay packets. So the only player we have signed is Martinelli. No, not the Arsenal Martinelli. It is going to be a player, I believe, from the Brazilian league for 4.8 million. We needed another midfield player. This player is, 25, so 5 years younger than our real starting midfield players, and he has come in and actually been a bit of a starter himself. 3 goals, 5 assists, a very good average rating, pretty well balanced, good passing range, good tackling, good technique, good work rate, good stamina, good pace, good acceleration. A really strong player that I think can do very well in Greece, but also can do quite well at the entry level of a Champions League. So I hopefully have got a team that can be somewhat competitive in the Champions League. And when I say competitive, I don't mean in the final, I mean just not getting absolutely humiliated. Now, Now, we talk about getting humiliated. We might not be, because we are only one place off actually going to the automatic qualifications. Now, usually, we've obviously beaten some decent teams. Very good teams. Atalanta, Lazio 5-0, Newcastle 4-0, Marseille 3-1, a draw against Feyenoord, Stuttgart, Man City, and one loss against Inter Milan, which was a little bit of a battering, but they are a very, very good team. Now, I would like to say, if we can beat some teams that were beaten here, we should get past this stage here. We don't. Now, I've got to prepare for this, because there is going to be a lot of seasons where we are not going to see even a quarter-final. I've got to prepare mentally for this, because Salzburg, I think, are beatable. Considering the teams we have beaten, Marseille, Newcastle, Lazio, Salzburg are probably at the bottom end of that bracket of teams, and we do lose to them 2-1. Now, I'm not annoyed in the slightest, because at the end of the day, that is a big, big step in terms of actually not getting humiliated in the league phase. You know, we could have finished down here where, like, Dynamo Kiev finished, but we have actually done ourselves quite proud here, and I'm going to take that. That's a very good first season. For me saying we're going to win everything in the Greek League, Greek Cup included, it doesn't happen, as we are going to lose 3-0 to PAOK in the Greek Cup quarter-finals, as it is going to be an Olympiakos PAOK final. So, do you know what? We've already been humbled. As for the league, we're not going to be humbled. We are going to win it. However, a lot less point difference. PAOK are really stepping up and turning up that dial. Now, I will say, the great thing to see here is that Martial and Jovic have not slowed down. 29 and 25 for them. You've also got Ellison, 21 assists. You've got Pineda with 15. You've got Thomas coming in there with the joint first clean sheets. And once again, 4 players in the league, their best players in the league, are all our players. So as for the league, as for how it goes, you know, even the league table, we're going to blitz the league table. We are doing a great job when it comes to that. And looking at it, the Greek Cup, it is important to the fans, I know. We have won it once. I'm not going to be too angry we've not won it again. The Champions League, I'm actually really happy with, because the fact we nearly made it into the top qualifying positions in Season 1, where we lost like 6 players, we signed 1 player. Our first real toy in that league to see, or competition, see how we could do. I'm quietly very confident in this, to be honest with you. Now, money-wise, we are going to have a bit of a better budget. We are going to have £38 million. Probably a mixture, because we qualified for Champions League again. We won the league again. We didn't spend too much last season. The club, again, is going to have 0 debt, because we have been very sensible with our budgeting so far. And the team is in need of some players. It is a very, very common fact, you know. You look at our team on paper, we're begging for some new wing-backs. We're begging for squad depth, younger players. And this is going to take time. It's going to take time. It's a pretty easy thing to see, you know, but the positives, not all negatives, you know. Our centre-back is scoring 17 goals. Now, he could also play CM, so he could have got some goals from there, but they're the power of my set pieces sometimes. 5 and 12 coming in from our left-back, 13 and 27 for the right wing, 5 and 6, 5 and 5 for midfielders, a bit of consistency, 43 goal contributions from Pineda, 36 and 13 from Jovic, 38 and 14 from Martial, and 7 and 11 from Kuita, who is a bit of a backup player, but fair play to him. He is doing his bit. Now, the squad is begging out for depth, so I don't usually like to go down this path, but I think for the next season, it might have to be quantity over quality, because I just need legs. For example, I don't have a backup goalkeeper, because he just left on the free. We need players. Well, signing one is going to be Mads Bidstrup. We have had a very active window, and we're going to start off with the creme de la creme player. This guy is a fantastic midfield player. Now, I will say he is 27, so he's not super young, but we're still not in that new gen era yet, so we need the next generation of players to get us to that point. And Mads Bidstrup, for a total of 12.5 million, is an absolute no-brainer. Signed from the team that knocked us out of the Champions League last year, I've got my revenge by poaching one of their best players. 12 goal contributions, a really, really well-rounded player who thrives mentally. I think this is a great addition to the team. The backup goalkeeper, believe it or not, with our budget, you're pretty limited to who you can get, and we are going to pick up Vutsov, a Bulgarian goalkeeper who was actually signed as backup but has played a lot of games. He only cost me £425,000, and he kept 13 clean sheets, so, you know, close to a clean sheet every other game, which is not not half bad, you know, for a keeper that is just a shot in the dark and know nothing about this guy. He was one of the better options on the market that was actually quite cheap. And I thought, do you know what? If Bayern have picked him up on the free, there's clearly maybe something there, and he's done relatively well. 4.1 million, we are going to welcome in another centre-back. Now, again, he is not going to win me a Champions League, I don't think, but he starts off that next generation batch of players. That is going to be Mark Mampesi, coming in for 4.1 million, plays relatively well, not outstanding. He's not really good enough to get every single game under his belt because, you know, he's decent. He's not world-class, he's not even great, but he's a decent centre-back that just adds a bit of depth to this team. This guy I actually think does lean towards the side of being really good, because he's perfect for versatility, right back, centre back and left back. He's 25, so got 6-7 years in the tank. He's got a bit of pace about him, good tackling. He's got decent heading, probably going to be a clear right back, because with 12 heading, a centre back might be a little bit, you know, he's going to get bullied is what I'm trying to say. But for a total of 3.7 million, I'll take that return. 2 goals, 5 assists, a very good average rating, and a player that has played over in Argentina for his whole career. So a nice switch for him as well, I imagine. Free signings, starting with Alvaro Barreal. Now, I will say, I would probably not actually spend money on this guy, but he did come in on the free, and he picked up 4 assists in 9 games. He is the definition of a backup player, and also a definition of maybe getting a little bit of money back into the club, because if a team comes in for him, yeah, I'm open to selling him. Pretty obvious. So this guy, I don't know if I would sell him, because he actually did play 32 games, picked up 4 assists and a goal, and to be fair, Maximilian is not actually a bad left-back. He's not world-class. I think, again, he is a player that needs a lot of work, but he's 21. He can improve significantly. So it might be worth me sticking with this guy, but we'll see how it goes. But it's a very active window, and sometimes in Football Manager, signing this quantity of players can put you up there, or it can put you down there. Time's going to tell. Well, the Greek Cup, it's now going to be 2 years we failed to win it. Now, the positive is we have got past the quarter-final stage. We are going to actually lose in the final to Olympiacos. So that is 1 win in 3 years, and definitely a trophy that I want to just turn up the dial a little bit on, because I want to win that several times. As for the league, we are going to go back to dominant fashion, and we are only going to lose 1 game. That game being against Panathinaikos in 2-1 fashion, and we're going to come out and achieve 93 points. Now, what I'm seeing here, by the way, is another Luka Jovic and Martial masterclass. The goals keep going down and down and down. If you compare it from the first season to this season, they're gradually going down and down and down, but they still are rank 1, rank 2 when it comes to the goals being scored. Ellison, the most assists. Jovic, the most assists, in second place. And Pineda in third place right there. Just behind is going to be Makana Baku. Now, our goalkeeper, to be fair to him, at the age of 25, which, you know, he's not super young, but a new league, a new challenge for him, he's picked up the 2nd most clean sheets. So, very happy with that. And again, this is now, well, 3 seasons we've won it back to back. And every season, apart from 1, Olympiacos have been hunting us down. So, got to stay above Olympiacos. That's a well-known fact. But the Champions League, have we improved? Yes, we have. Round of 16. Now, we do lose to Liverpool, only by a goal, I will mention, so not a humiliating defeat by any means of the imagination. And we must have actually, did we go into this? We do go into this, and we are going to beat Feyenoord 4-1. Now, Feyenoord aren't a bad team. Van Persie in charge, you know, you've got some pretty decent players, a good midfield there, a good sort of mixture of young and experienced players. They're a team that, you know, are very competitive in the Dutch league, and a team that potentially probably should have beaten us. But the league phase, we're not going to get humiliated. We actually win 5 games again. Oh, wow. 4-0 against Leverkusen, 4-0 against Feyenoord, funny enough, 4-0 against Real Madrid, 2-1 against Freiburg, 2-0 against Shakhtar. So it is just these losses here which battering there against Atletico. If we would have just got a point against one of those, we probably would have gone into this sort of top 8 position. But we can't be angry. We've improved overall, and we are making clear progress. We're winning the league relentlessly. The Greek Cup, we're back into the final at bare minimum, and the Champions League, we're improving. And I imagine, money-wise, it is going to be a little bit better. We are going to have £55 million. Again, 0 transfer debt, 0 net debt, and the green flag is being waved to go and spend a bit more money. And oh boy, although we've spent a bit of money, I say a bit of money, we spent about 20 million, we need to go and spend more. And my eyes are looking at more centre-backs, maybe some more midfielders, maybe some younger strikers. I love my strikers to bits. 32 and 17, 31 and 5. The wingers are doing great, but I've got to prepare myself that we're not here for 5 years. This isn't a realism rebuild where I'm here for 5 years, then I get to go. I'm doing this rebuild till I win a Champions League. And some of these players are really pushing their ages. If we go to the squad right now and actually look at the age of these players, look how many players are 28 and above. Pretty much most of our starting 11. Get ready for a squad wipe. Well, for £11 million, I have made my first young signing that I think potentially one day could win me a Champions League or definitely be in the squad, and that is going to be Pau Prim. Coming in from Al Sadd, former Barcelona man, £11 million pounds, 8 goal contributions, and a 7.13 average rating. This guy, I don't want to compare him to Gavi or Pedri, but he's given me that vibe. The passing range, the first touch, the technical ability, the technique. He's got a bit of vision, good work rate, good stamina. Not exactly slow either for a midfield player. And do you know what? Has got the tackling as well down to a T. So a very good midfield player that can grow a little bit to become a star Super League player. And I do believe at the age of 23, he can be here for getting on for a decade. So if this rebuild does go 13, 14 seasons long, we might see him floating about. So very happy to get him. There were a lot of competition in terms of clubs competing, mainly from the Premier League, but we got in there, put him on 75k a week, so he ain't gonna starve, is he? And yeah, I'm hoping he makes a difference. Help that, we are going to pick up Darami. Now you might think, Josh, how are you funding this? Well, I didn't. We got him on the free, and this guy cooked. 25 goals and 12 assists. Now, it wasn't in my notebook to pick up a winger, because our wingers have been quite good, but when this guy's on the free, a man that's worth £20 million, and you spend £0 on him, you have to get him. He's also on very low wage, 33k a week. Already wanted by Al Shabab. This guy screams of a tricky winger. Good acceleration, good agility, good balance, good pace, good dribbling, good technique. He can put a ball in. His finishing and composure aren't awful, aren't great, but clearly in this league it doesn't really matter because he scored 25 goals. So actually improving his performance that he had at Reims in less games in goals and assists and average rating and player of the matches. So Darami, welcome. We are going to sign a bit more of an experienced left back just to deal with the tougher games in Mitchell Bakker. Now he comes in from Udinese and he does quite well, 7.15, 4 assists. We have got Maximilian as a sort of future left back, but for the big games against real tough teams, I need some experience, you know. I need someone who has played at some big clubs. This guy's played at PSG, Bayer Leverkusen, Atalanta, Pisa, Udinese. This guy's been everywhere, so experience, sometimes you need it. £18 million, we decided to strengthen the other wing. Since we've got Darami, let's just have a wing strengthen now. We are going to pick up Luis Enrique, coming in from Zenit for £16 million. Simply great season. 9 goals, 14 assists, a 7.6 average rating. Similar to Darami, to be honest with you. I'm a little worse finishing and composure, but very quick, good crossing, good dribbling, good technique. Your typical, what am I saying? Typical winger. Had so many words go into my head there. This is a player that is worth a lot more than what we paid. Pretty much double he is worth. So with him and with Darami and with the new midfielders, let's see what we can do. Well, we've been struggling in the Greek Cup a little bit, so I'm going to show you the actual highlights from this Cup final, because we get off to a great start here with Bidstrup playing it inside into Darami, and that is why we brought him in, because he can get into positions like that. But we're playing AEK, and literally about 30 seconds after our goal, in the 24th minute, they go and score in the 24th minute and 30 seconds. So, I mean, we're going to take this game all the way to penalties, and what was a very boring game after those couple of goals, and we are going to concede first. A good goal there from Despodov. Martial is going to step up and lash it into the same position. A great penalty there. They're going to step, and they are going to miss. A great save there from Strakosha. Very, very good save. Luka Jovic is going to step up, and he is going to go into the same area as Martial, but a little bit lower. Cancelleri is going to step up. It's a good penalty down the middle, and this could honestly go either way now. Luis Enrique, and that's what I mean. That is what I mean. Luis Enrique, the new man, is going to miss from the spot. Kenny steps up and misses again. And the penalty, the quality of these penalties has been quite poor of recent times, as Martinelli just about sticks it into the bottom right-hand corner. Majid is going to stick up, and it's a decent penalty into the top left-hand corner. But finally, we come out on top in 4-3 fashion. As we also go on to win the Greek Super League quite comfortably. When I say quite comfortably, it's by, 5 points, so not really as comfortable as last season, but we're not really running into a sort of tie point situation or a 1 or 2 point gap. We get over the line, and at the end of the day, we've welcomed in so many new faces. There's a lot of gelling that needs to happen in this team, and quite clearly that gelling has gelled pretty quickly. You've got Enrique, Durrami, Bidstrup, Pineda in the assists. You've got Durrami and Luka Jovic with the goals. These players have gelled quite quickly together to the point where we actually do quite well in the Champions League. We do lose to PSG 7-2. Okay, we won't look at the score lines, but we actually get out of the league phase, so there is a positive. We do finish in 5th place with wins over AZ, Real Sociedad, Arsenal, Girona, Bayer Leverkusen, points against Marseille, Fiorentina, and 1 loss there against Barcelona. So despite the humiliation, which I will look at again, of 7-2, at least we're getting to the same areas of the Champions League. We're winning the league, we're winning the Greek Cup, and we're finally back to being that Greek super team where hopefully from this point onwards we can keep on winning the Greek Cup and the Greek Super League while still slowly just chiseling away at that Champions League. The next stage, a big stage, would be quarterfinals. Quarterfinals would be massive for this club, so I'd love to get there in the next couple of seasons. I think what we're building is obviously, how can I say this? It's not necessarily chosen. So, like, for example, did I have in my plans in my notebook over here that in Season 5 I would go and pick out Luis Enrique, Durrami? Of course not. But these rebuilds, you have to get what you can get. What you're given is what you got to deal with. And when you got people like Durrami, who is not bad, by the way, on the free, you've got to pick him up because he's a player that you'd never be able to afford usually. So Durrami comes in, he's done relatively well. Prim has done really good as well. Bidstrup has been great since he's been here. Enrique's developed to the club really well. Of course, he's a man that's not really going to develop too much. He is 28, but he's come in to a league that he's never played in before, done really well, 15 and 22. Paz at right back, 1 and 10, pretty decent. Martial still plotting along. Jovic, 30 and 4, very decent as well. 9 and 2 for Zine, who is going to be pretty much our backup striker at 26 years of age. This team, I like what I see, but I still will be honest, I'm not going to lie to you. We are miles off being a Champions League winning team, and it's a shame because when I say it's a shame, I really like some of the players in this back line. Like, I love the right back, I like our left back, Embark, but I think that's where the money's got to be spent next because they simply can't do it against a team like PSG. When you're defending against Greek League players, they can do it very well. Then you come against Ousmane Dembele, Kvaratskhelia, you concede 7 goals. Now, we have luckily got a total of £28 million, so a little bit less money to spend. We have now got £1.7 million in transfer debt as well, which is not alarming, but there's still a little bit of debt into the club. And yeah, we're going to go and try and strengthen a little bit more, but we're slowly getting there. Signing 1 is going to be Manu Silva, coming in from Benfica for a grand total of £9 million, 36 appearances, a very good average rating, and a player who is just going to come in and purely, hopefully, get the job done. Now, he's a pretty solid centre-back, don't get me wrong. He's got good pace, good acceleration, good tackling, good technique, decent passing. He is a ball-playing defender, so he's going to work really well in this system. He is a little bit on the older side, but we're still not quite ready for those new-gen players, and with limited budget this season as well, I couldn't really have my pick of the batch. Signing is going to be another goalkeeper in Christos Mandas. Now, he's a big step up. He is Greek as well, so great for registration. 14 clean sheets in 29 games. And I just hope, after his stint in Lazio, he has still got the confidence to perform at a top level in European competitions, because we do need to get a few new goalkeepers through the door until we get our finalised goalkeeper. And it does complete quite a boring window. Only £17 million spent. A few players going on the free as well that simply did not want new contracts, and we didn't have a massive budget, so I don't know where this is going to leave me because we've not really improved that much apart from the centre back. The goalkeeper, he's done decent but not exactly game changing. I guess we're going to see how much one new centre-back can do. More like it, because for the first time since this video has begun, we have now won the Greek Cup back-to-back. 3-2 over Panathinaikos, and that is what I like to see. This is what I want to start doing. Setting the tone, setting the tempo, and being the team that wins the Greek League and the Greek Cup every single season. The question is, have we won the league as well? Come on, you know the answer. And we have done it very, very well. Only one loss here, and I don't even know who that is actually against, but 95 points compared to 71, you know. 30 wins, 5 draws. It is a really good season. Our goalkeeper in Mandas, the new man, is going to pick up the most clean sheets. Very good signing. We're also going to have Mads Bidstrup with the top assists, Darami with 22 goals, and Pineda with 17. The man who is now 34, probably in one of his last few seasons, is doing absolute miracles for the club. Now, it's a bit weird this, because we've had probably our best season in terms of points deficit over second place. But we have, for the first time, not got 4 players in the average rating. For the first time, we've got a player in second place with under 20 goals, and we've only got 1 player in the top assists, so not really a dominant season in terms of player stats, which does surprise me, but the Champions League is the only negative this season, you know. We're going to win the Greek Super League, win the Greek Cup, we take a step back in the Champions League as we are going to lose to a Celtic 6-2 in a knockout playoff rounds, which of course means we finish outside the top 8, just behind Man City there. And again, we can beat teams like Liverpool, Chelsea 4-0. The losses, Club Brugge and Galatasaray, they can't happen. We can beat them. If we can beat teams like Liverpool and Chelsea, we can beat those teams, but we don't do it, and we are going to get battered, to put it bluntly, against Celtic. So the Champions League, we take a little bit of a step back. The Greek Cup and Greek Super League, we're still on track. Nice to see us win the Greek Cup back-to-back. Hopefully become that team now that can get this done over and over and over. But the Champions League, yeah, it's not ideal, the Champions League. Now, when we go and look at this team on paper, there is, of course, more players that will leave us on the free this season. But overall, I think we've now got to actually pay attention to really getting in some Champions League quality players. Now, of course, that comes with money, and we have actually got a big budget of £40 million, so we can go and sign some pretty big players. And realistically, I just hope some new gen start to come through along the back line, because I would rather wait a couple of years and sign that new gen that might cost me 30 million, but can be with us for years upon years and develop and develop and develop, than sign a pre-built player that's going to last me 2-3 years, and then we've got to offload him and get a new gen in the future, because this team, it can't go from building up to a semi-final, then dropping off because they're all too old. I'd rather it go up at a slower pace and go from, you know, quarters, quarter, semi, quarter, semi, then a final, then a win. And with the young players, we haven't got to keep offloading them. So we are going to go down the patient approach and hopefully pick up some young talent. But let's not slate the players that have got us where we are today. You know, Enrique, 33 goal contributions. Pal Prim, significant improvement, 2 and 15. Bidstrup, 4 and 16. Pineda, 18 and 14. 33 and 12 for Darami. What a player Darami has been since he stepped foot into the club. Unorthodox signing, but we had to get him. Martial, 21 and 7. Jovic, 21 and 10. 5 and 4 for Ella Nilsson. We have got some really, really good performers at this club. But are they Champions League winning performers? I'll let you answer that. Well, signing one is going to be Ante Kranak, coming in from Al Shabab for a total of 16 million, and the guy picks up 42 goal contributions in 28 games. He might be one of the best performers I have seen in a season 1 of coming to a club. Now, he is on the older side, but when I saw how sort of, you know, hit the stats that got me, to be honest, and I mean, he's not played at massive clubs in his career at all, but he had a very good stint here at Norwich in the Championship. But what I saw from him is blistering pace, good finishing, good composure, good dribbling, good crossing, good technique, and he's a player that is quite easy to get in terms of appeal. He wants to come to a team like this. Obviously, at Al Shabab, he's probably getting paid a bit more, but he's not really playing competitive football. So I'm going to get him in, and I think with stats like that in the league, I reckon he can do some of that in the actual Champions League. I sure hope so. £50 million, we are going to welcome in another younger midfield player in Branko Pavic, coming in from Dynamo for 15 million, 8 goal contributions. Not as impressive as Pau when he come in, but still a very, very good player, you know. He's got great first touch, great decision making, good vision, good tackling, good technique, good passing range. Your typical deep line playmaker, you know, which is why I might drop one of those players down shortly to really cater for him. But that's another young midfield player, so we're slowly bringing in some younger legs. Most of the budget went on the man on the thumbnail, Youssoufa Moukoko. I have had my eye on this guy since season 1. Now, he took a move to Bayern Munich in this game, and he has been doing pretty decent. If you look at it, he's been doing okay, but they were up for selling him for a little bit less than what they paid for him, and he has scored a goal every game for us, and also picked up 7 assists, so... You know, for the Greek league, this is going to be a walk in the park for him. 17 finishing, 15 dribbling, great first touch, great composure, great flair, great off the ball work, great technique, great acceleration, great agility, great pace. This is a striker that can win me a Champions League. Hand on heart, he can win me a Champions League. He's got the ability pre-built, you know, he's 26, so we've not got exactly, you know, we've not got 20 years in him, but we have got, what, probably like 5-6 years to win a Champions League with him in the team. But the question is, does he stay? He's in his prime years, and he's wanted by United, Tottenham and Barcelona. Is a prime player going to want to stay at AEK, or take a move to a Premier League team, or Spanish giant? I'm going to have to get the checkbook out, aren't I? But sadly, it is also going to be a big departure for a lot of our sort of iconic players. Now, these are players that simply did not want contracts. Now, Bidstrup, for example, is 30 years of age. He probably wanted the money move. Grucic is now 35, so that made sense for me to offload him. And, yeah, we've also got Nicolas Paz, who is going to be going. The right back that I signed went for the money. A lot of these players already had their moves set out, so we've lost a lot of key players, and this is like the first generation of players, so a little bit sad to see them go, but this is a sign of that we are now going into the next era. We're going into the next batch of players, the batch of players that can maybe get me to a Champions League final, hopefully win one. Yeah, not nice to see, but I knew it was coming. It's going to be another Greek Cup final, and we are playing Olympiacos again, and their chance for revenge, and Chiquinho is going to go through and make it 1-0 in 25 minutes. So, not a great start to today's final, but Luis Enrique is going to pick up the ball and take it past his man, driving at the back line, down the right-hand side, little cut back in the middle, into Kranak, and that is going to be a great equaliser before the first half ends. And the second half, well, the second half goes all yellow. Luis Enrique over the top. A very lucky ended up ball being played in behind there as they fall asleep. Kranak goes through and makes it 2-1 inside of 65 minutes, and Olympiacos really shut off there, and they shut off again a few minutes after. Little set piece here into Darami. A little bit of luck in the end, it has to be said, but sometimes you got to take the luck, and we are going to lead this final in 3-1 fashion, and soon to be 4-1 fashion, and a 4-1 win coming in. Backer into Darami, great outside of the foot there, into Moukoko, simply lovely. As we also go on to win the Greek Super League, which, surprise, surprise, we have now won this every season. Olympiacos runners-up 4 times as well. 3 players in the top goal-scoring ranks. Kranak, Darami, Moukoko. That is a lineup of players. Enrique, Darami, Kranak, Martinelli in the assists. And as for Greek football, can we be topped? Can we be chartered? No, we can't. We are genuinely everything in Greece right now. And get ready, because something's happened. We've got to a semi-final in the Champions League, which is such a step up. We've scraped right past the quarter-final stage, and we were 1 goal off going to a final. Now, we would have played PSG, who I imagine they've got Enrique in charge. They've got Barcola, Kvaratskhelia, Lee, Neves, Wirtz, Rice, Paco, Diamande, Fernandez, Mendes. They've got a great team. We probably would have lost that game. In fact, we would have lost. But a semi-final appearance is remarkable. We're going to beat Sevilla 7-2, so a little bit of luck there to draw, let's just be fair and honest, the easiest team out of the last 8. We're being fair here. The round of 16, Copenhagen, again, a little bit of a blessed fixture, 6-2. And when it comes to the league phase, we actually get through. We lose against Besiktas and Chelsea, but we beat Fiorentina, Madrid, Celtic, Brighton, Inter, Roma. This is a very, very good stage, a very good step up. Greek Super League winners, Greek Cup winners, semi-finalists in the Champions League, and surely money's going to come in. And it has come in, that's a lot of money, 122 million. Now, I do not know if we had a board takeover. I do not know what's happened. Have we had any outgoings is my question. Not apart from the free agent. So that is a mega budget to go and play with. We've still got a little bit of transfer debt, but we can seriously go and play with that money. Now, when it comes to that money, I'm not going to go rash. I'm going to be sensible, but we've had a lot of players leave, obviously, last window on the free, and that's probably going to happen again this season. So I am now going to have to really pay attention to the future. And this now might mean that we sign some younger players that might not get flowing right away. We could even see ourselves lose a league once, because I'm not going to go and sign any older players now. This is now all about the future, building a team that can win me a Champions League. But on the other side of the coin, this team that you see right in front of you has just got me to a semi-final. So it's not easy to replace and wave goodbye to. But again, all you need to do is look at the age. We have got, I mean, we've got to count it. We'll go 28 and upwards. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 players. Nearly 20 players that are, let's just face it, getting on. We need replacements. Oh, we've had a lot of players leave on the free, and I put everything into this contract. I offered Darami 160k a week, and he declined me for Tottenham Hotspur. So he is going to go on the free. Now, he has been a player that has been so good for us, but he probably just wanted that big move in his career. And do you know what, Tottenham? They're an exciting project. We also lose Enrique. He goes to, what league is that? Is that the Saudi League? The Saudi League on the free. Again, I would have offered him more than 66k a week. He is 31, but I could have done with him for a couple of more seasons. Who's our left back in Bakker? He is going to go to Ajax now. It makes sense. You know, he started off at Ajax, goes back to Ajax, but again, he's a player that I was hesitant offering a contract to. He's 31. He is replaceable, unlike Darami, to be honest with you, and Enrique. So he also goes on the free. As does Martinelli, another player that we signed very early on for £4 million. He simply did not want a new contract, and no clubs offered money, so he went on the free. 4 massive losses. So we have gone and spent every single penny of our transfer budget. Starting off with Abakar Diallo coming in for a grand total of 27 million. 31 appearances, 9 goals, and also an assist. Now this guy is remarkable at centre-back. Blistering pace, very good bravery, very good decisions, concentration, passing, marking, heading, tackling, technique. He's a world-class centre-back at 21. He might be one of the best centre-backs in the entire world in this game. Already wanted by Tottenham, Porto, Atletico Real and Sevilla. So keeping him is not going to be easy, and that puts a certain element of pressure on me winning a Champions League, because people like Diallo, they don't stick around for second place. Junior Z is going to come in. Now this is just to replace a bit of experience on the wing. We've lost Darami, we've lost Enrique. Z is going to come in from Sevilla for £29 million. And picks up 39 goal contributions. So a very, very, very strong signing who offers everything to a ridiculously high level apart from that finishing, but he still scores 13 goals. So Z, welcome in. 0.3 million, we pick up a bit of a cheaper right back in Valery Petrov. He comes in, he does okay, not great. He's played his entire career in Bulgaria, over at Slavia Sofia, and he gets a move here. And I think, if you're being honest, and I'm being honest, he won't be a Champions League winning right back. He'll be part of the squad, but not a starter. As for this guy, he could be part of the Champions League winning squad. Adam Dagim is going to come in. I'll be honest, the winger market doesn't have too many new gens on, so I tried to sign middle-aged 20 years, that sort of vibe, 25, 26, and he comes in from Salzburg and does relatively well. 28 goal contributions, which is really good for his first season, not only at AEK, but in Greece in general. And I do think this guy can do it in the Champions League. Unlike the other winger we signed, in obviously Z, he might not be as quick, but he is still very quick. He's got the finishing and the composure, and I think, unlike Z, he might eventually end up scoring more goals. Big one, the creme de la creme, Kendry Paez to replace Bidstrup Grucic. Kendry Paez comes in for 38 million, 16 goal contributions, developed to a very high level. Great physically, great technically, great mentally, a very good player, a serious player who is still only 25. That is going to be a ridiculous window in terms of players that we've lost, but we've spent every penny that I had in the bank, and we have gone out and strengthened to a serious high level. And I think we can honestly... I think we can get to the minimum quarterfinals, but I would not be surprised if we get to a final. If we don't get to the final, that is going to be Man City and Arsenal. The semis, we do get to the semis, so we do lose to Arsenal in 3-2 fashion, but that is now back-to-back years of semi-finals, which is showing a little bit of consistency. The question is, do we have a harder run to the semis? Porto 5-4, very close game. Round of 16, Real Madrid, there you go. Definitely a harder path. 6-3, a very good display there. The league phase, we finish in 13th, so not ideal. Who did we beat in this then? Monaco 10-1. That's an absolute levering. How did we do in the Greek League? Greek League, we finally go invincible with a 109 goal difference, 102 points, Makoko with 43 goals, Cranach with 30. We've now got 4 plays in the assists again, and 4 plays in the average rating. We are back at the top when it comes to the player stats. Junior Z, Cranach, Dagim, and Kendry Payez are going to dominate the assists. Z, Cranach, Makoko, and Dagim are going to dominate the average rating. We've got the most clean sheets. We've got invincible. Greek football is ours, alongside of the Greek Cup in 3-2 fashion over Panathinaikos, which now makes that 4 times back-to-back. That is what I like to see. We've started winning that now relentlessly. The league we've never lost. The Champions League, we're now consistent semi-finalists, so we're a step off the final, and who knows what can happen. We might win the first final, we might lose a final, I do not know. What I do know is, the team on paper, I am very proud of. This front two is nuts. 69 and 15, 49 and 27. 19 and 39 from Z, Dagin 20 and 27. The midfield is very, very strong. The backline's getting stronger. I do think the wing-backs still need to be improved. I still think a better goalkeeper needs to come in. We need more plays in terms of depth. Payers there, 7 and 21. We do need to go and spend, and luckily for us, we are going to have a budget of 84 million. A little bit of debt, but about a couple 100k, so nothing to really worry about. And we're going to go and spend money, because the last thing I want to see now is a rapid decline. We need to keep spending. Well, trust me, I've not sold him of my own will, but he did have a release clause. It was one of the reasons he joined me, because of that release clause. Diallo is going to go to Atletico Madrid for 33 million. Now, I would never have sold this guy in any scenario, but he was sold because of that release clause. He was great when he was here. Signing one is going to be Raul Sarmiento, coming in from the PSG second team for a total of £16 million. This guy comes in as a future goalkeeper. Now, he has got really good potential. At the moment, he is not playing the games because he is not really well trained enough. I'm going to give him some game time in the under-21s, I think. Develop him up a little bit, and hopefully by the time our other goalkeeper either leaves on the free, retires, gets a paid move, this guy can step in. But a lot of pressure on his young shoulders. The young shoulders, and the player that maybe took that move too early in real life is going to be Endrick. He is now going to be an AEK player, and he's a player, don't forget, that got that massive move to Madrid, has played hardly any game since being there, even in the game. He played 10 games for us, picked up 7 goals. So, I mean, I'm not being funny. He's not even guaranteed first-team football in our team, and that says something. But he is a good option to have, and for what? For 12 million? Come on. Why wouldn't you sign him? And he's already wanted, by the way, by Al Ahly, who might put in a ridiculous bid. £3 million, we are going to try and replace Diallo in Ernad Varega, coming in from Dynamo. Pretty expensive, actually, at 22 million. 35 appearances, 6 goals, and drops to 7.23. Is he actually expensive? I'm going to take that and retract that statement. Great heading, great tackling, pretty quick as well. Good anticipation, good bravery, good concentration, good positioning, good work rate. Is he actually expensive? I don't think so, but again, like Diallo, already wanted by a top team. Not what I want to be seeing. I'm going to pick up Willy Kambwala, coming in from Lille, of course, former Manchester United man. Another centre-back option, 9 goals and 2 assists, so a really strong performance. A man that's worth £39 million. Now, he is 28. I never would have spent a penny on him, but he come in on the free. I didn't spend a penny. So I had to get him because he looks really, really well developed, and he's an elite centre-back and right-back and can also play left-back in certain scenarios. Again, Al Hilal want him, so we might have a window of pure profit coming up. River Plate, we are going to pick up a fantastic left-back in Gonzalo Lozano. Now, this guy is rapid. He can put a ball in, he's got decent tackling, good stamina, and like I said, his first season wasn't electric, but it was decent. 4 assists, 4 goals, decent average rating. Can he become a Champions League winner? Potentially. I honestly think he can. He's got a lot of stats that I like to see in a left-back. So, is he the best left-back I've seen? No, nowhere near. But I do think he's good enough to get the job done. And if I get the right team around him, I think we're going to be good. We pick up Tony Fernandes, a man worth 52 to 56 million pounds, coming in from Getafe, and he does relatively well. 9 goal contributions, a player that can play pretty much anywhere in the front three, preferably up front or on the right hand side though. Blistering acceleration, great agility, fantastic composure, finishing, dribbling, the whole package. Good passing, good technique, good off the ball, good vision, good teamwork. The guy's amazing, and he's only 24, so again, really signing for the future, while being sensible with the budget. And we picked up a couple of free agents this window that could really shake things up, which left us a little bit of money to go and spend £10 million on Fernandes, a bit of a backup player, 21 appearances, not going to break any records anytime soon, but another set of legs in the team, and we've lost a lot of players recently, so to have the opportunity to add a bit of backup, I'll take it. I think from my side of things anyway, that's a very good window. You know, we lost such a key player, but we have replaced him ridiculously well. And it is a gamble to put all these players into one team and see what happens, because things have been going so well. But this is the reality of rebuilding a team like this. When you're trying to achieve the pinnacle of football, changes happen. Has knocked us down a step in the Champions League. Now, it's not horrific. We are still going to get to the quarterfinals, but sadly, PSG are a little bit too strong on the day. The round of 16, we are going to beat Porto 4-1, so at least we're battering them. And we do get out of the league phase, and we do it by beating Feyenoord, Salzburg, Monaco, Roma, and Maccabi Tel Aviv. A point against Bayern and 2 losses against Arsenal and Liverpool. So not exactly perfection, but also not awful. Again, it is a step back, so I can't be over positive, but also not going to be over negative, because it is PSG, and I don't even know if we could beat them in a final, to be honest, so it is what it is. As for the rest of the competitions, come on, you know what's going to happen. The Greek Cup, we are going to win 3-1 over Panathinaikos. That is now a staggering, it's more times than that. We have absolutely blitzed that. I mean, it's ridiculous. The Greek Super League, no, it's more times than this one. Yeah, we've won this every single season. You know, we have been flawless from season 1. We've still got 3 players in the goal scorers. We've got 4 players in the assists, 4 players in the average rating. The most clean sheets with Christos Mandas, who didn't end up being a bad goalkeeper, did he? Didn't end up being a bad goalkeeper, but again, even with him, we played this super sensibly. You know, we have got already, if I go to the best team, filter by this, we already have this man stepping in right now to replace him. We are slowly seeing a few new gens into the team, mainly across the back line and goalkeeper. The age of the squad, we still have a bit of an issue with the age, so we still are going to have to go and spend money trying to sort of develop and adapt with this team. But we are doing a good job so far, and I mean, money-wise, we are going to take into next season £73 million. So there's not really too much for me to talk about now, other than the fact that we just need to keep this path, keep going, keep strengthening. Obviously, looking at this, you can say we've taken a step back, but it's not horrific. It's PSG. We've got to remember that. So then, for 24 million, I believe, we are going to welcome in Tom Stansfield, another great option at right back. This guy looks incredible. His only weakness is crossing, but he can also play centre-back, and he's young, and also he cost me, what, 24 million? A great season, great amount of assists and goals and average rating. So when you factor in the one negative to the amount of positives, it makes complete sense to sign him. He already is wanted by Chelsea, Barcelona, and Real Madrid. Of course, why wouldn't they be interested? And I don't know where I'm going to play this guy. I think he would have got game time at right back based off the goals and assists. But to be honest, this guy would also make up for a pretty good centre-back. £1 million, we are going to welcome in a younger winger in Jose Couto Miranda, coming in from the Brazilian league for a total of 15 million. Now, he's probably not good enough to play every game. He's got competition. 4 goals, 5 assists is a pretty decent return. Nearly a goal contribution every other game, bar one game. And he's got weaknesses, his composure, his finishing, but he's your typical winger. Like Luis Enrique was. Great acceleration, good agility, good pace, good determination, good flair, good technique, good crossing, good dribbling. He's got the key fundamentals of a winger, but not a goal scorer. And do you know what? That's actually fine because we've got 2 strikers. So not every winger that I own has to be good at finishing, but already wanted by 2 pretty attractive clubs. Our signing of the window is going to be Corey Seaton. This player is going to be another example of a typical winger. Not the best composure, not the best finishing. Get the ball in the box, the guy can do that. Good acceleration, good agility, good balance, good pace, good stamina, good determination, good flair, good technique. 24, world class. I mean, the list can go on. 23 million, 39 goal contributions. The guy is absolutely loving it. Now, even with finishing and composure that is not exactly great, in the Greek stuff, he's going to get goals. In the Champions League, he might struggle a little bit, but he can at least put the ball in. He's very quick, he's a danger, he can counter-attack, and in a tactic that prides itself on counter-attack and get the ball into the box mentality, these wingers are absolutely ideal. But again, wanted by 2 very good clubs. Can clubs leave our players alone? Let's run it right up because it's going to be another invincible season. That is now 2 we have had, and another trophy going into the Greek cabinet. And I tell you what, this has gone really, really well. Corey Seaton with 28 assists, Adam Dagin with 24. Let's not forget about this man, by the way. He's a player that was now been at the club, for 3 years? He's been absolutely significantly fantastic since he's been here. Kranak's another example. Makoko, another example. We're making an example of everyone. Greek Super Cup final, or Cup final, not Super Cup final, I always say that. It's a big moment here for none other than Tony Fernandes. We are going to go through and make it 1-0, a very good goal there at the near post, inside of 23 minutes, and Tony Fernandes has been a really, really positive player. Seaton, the new man, instantly on the set pieces, and that's why. Stansfield, actually Kambwala, who is going to get the goal. A great ball in there, and I tell you what, the only negative of this cup final is probably this goal we conceded, as I feel the defending was a little bit off, I'll be honest. But luckily for us, the next goal and the final goal of this cup final is going to go in favour of the team in the yellow shirts, and it is going to be none other than Z with the win. Little positives, because we have now gone down another step, and my head is now starting to worry because we have gone from semi-finals 2 years in a row to quarters to now round of 16, and Tottenham I think we should be beating by now. Now I will say, as for the league phase, we do get out of it and nearly go invincible. Our only losses against Celtic, we get a point against Girona, and we're beating some pretty decent teams there, including Tottenham Hotspur. But this is really worrying now because we're at a stage where we're now going into our 10th season, I believe, and we're in the round of 16 as our recent performance, which is simply not good enough. So I'm going to hope this is a one-off in terms of a negative one-off. Now, money-wise, we are going to have a budget of £72 million to go and spend into the next season. We've got 0 debt, which is really, really strong. And the team on paper, I'm looking at it and I'm starting to think, where do I spend this money? My eyes now are going to them 2 central midfield players. They've done such a good job, but maybe we need a real world-class player in there. Maybe we now need to drop that player deep, and I think that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to do that now, actually. I'm going to probably I'm going to go with a DLP on support. Nice and simple. Make that happen. Go and probably sign a real world-class DLP. Who have we got that can play there, actually? We actually filter in the best 11. It is going to be Prim in there, who is, don't get me wrong, he's a decent player, but there probably is better on the market now. Paez also can play there, which is good to see. That team on paper is really strong, so hopefully a couple more windows will hopefully be the answer. One is going to be Eduardo, coming in for a total of £17 million. He does relatively well, actually. 8 goal contributions, a very good average rating, and a player that just holds that position really well. Now, he can play as a DLP, but traditionally he's better as an anchor, a DM, and we might mod the tactic once again to suit Eduardo, because he is one incredible DM. He's also got decent passing for a DM, not really on the long range side, but to go side to side, which is what I'd want, we can play with him like that. Really good physically, mentally, great heading as well, a bit of a unit in midfield, and again, already wanted by PSG, Al Nassr and Sevilla. Definitely picked up another gem, haven't we? Julian Krosa is going to come in for 8 million. 8 million, a bargain. 8 assists as well. A really decent option for midfield. And this player was pretty much brought in to be an option, right? I didn't even know he was going to play a lot of games. Now, he can play as a DLP. Of course, he can also play in CM. So he's just an option for the team. Now, he was a player that didn't really stand out massively. But for 8 million, I thought I had to get him. The last signing of this window is going to be Luis Reyes, coming in from the Brazilian League as a right-back and centre-back for £19 million. Now, I will say, a pretty decent first season, and he was playing at centre-back. Now, I'd actually rather him at centre-back because he's got great heading, great tackling, he can play out from the back as well, relatively quick, good stamina, good strength, pretty much everything you would want in a centre-back. And the positive of this window, can you guess? We have lost no players, so 3 new faces to hopefully get us back to them semi-finals. But before we look at the Champions League, we are going to look at another flawless, invincible season in the Greek Super League, which now makes that a staggering 10 times we have won it back-to-back. 100% win rate from Season 1. And is it a surprise? I mean, we have strengthened this team very sensibly from minute 1, and we have not taken our foot off the gas a second when it comes to this league. Greek Cup, we had our issues at the start. Let's get that very straight. You know, we won it in the first season, and then we obviously lost it a couple of years. Ever since then, we have now won it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times in a row. So 8 times in 10 years, not exactly bad, is it? Champions League, things are looking very strong. 7 wins and 1 draw, 8-0 against Sporting, 4-0 against Salzburg, 2-0 against Atletico Madrid, 2-1 against City, 4-1 against AC Milan, 4-1 against Bayern, 4-0 against Porto, a 2-2 against Dynamo. We go invincible for the first time, obviously in the club's history, but also in this rebuild history, in the league phase of the Champions League. Going to the round of 16, where we are going to beat Barcelona. Instantly a big team knocked out, 7-3. No prisoners in these games. Quarterfinals, 8-1 over FC Porto. Probably one of the easier teams out of the rest of the teams at this current stage. The semi-finals we are going to get into and blitz Tottenham 7-2. We're heading to a Champions League final. The downside? We're probably playing the best team in the Premier League. Actually playing this Champions League final in Cardiff, which is a very unique place. Now, I will say, we are going to get off to a great start here with Cranach, slots it past Donnarumma, very luckily there, inside of 13 minutes. And this game was an absolute blockbuster, let me tell you that. Because they're going to try and play out from the back here with Lavia into Gula, and it's great play. I can't take anything away from him. Haaland goes through 5 minutes after and equalises. And I'm going to question the goalkeeper there, as this game is going to be tied up at 1-1 inside of 18 minutes. We're now going to try and play out from the back again. I don't really like doing this in big games, but we tried it and we're going to fail. Gula is going to find Enrique into Xavi Simons, and they're going to take the lead 2-1. And that all come from our own mistake. Deep into the second half now, 72 minutes on the clock. They still lead 2-1. Stansfield puts in an incredible ball in. Makoko is going to equalise and make it 2-2. An incredible ball from Stansfield. 2 minutes after, Seaton, 75 minutes on the clock. Back stick, great header from Dagin to make it 3-2, and the comeback is looking relatively positive. Cambuala into Stansfield, into Dagin, plenty of space here. Great ball into Cranach, that is a great ball. Go alone, he goes alone. Donnarumma having a stinker, a 4-2 advantage, and considering we went behind in this game, the confidence has been amazing. But until this happens, Ernest Numar is going to be through with bags of space. I mean, so much space. Haaland goes through, and that is going to make it 4-3. So they've got, you know, this game is already looking lively, and luckily for us, we are going to hold out and finally, after 10 hard years, win the Champions League 5-3. That is a statement. Champions League winners in 2033. We also beat one of the best teams in the game. You know, Man City are no slouches. Pep Guardiola in charge. They're going to have a very, very good team here. I mean, a very good team. Some good regens. Haaland, Xavi Simons at left wing. Pretty interesting. But a very, very hard team to beat. And we've got the job done. And the team on paper, we can be very proud of. The team that I've left you guys on the Patreon is ridiculous. You know, pretty much minimum of 4-star ability all the way round. If you want to replace players, you've got a budget of £0. That can't be right. That would not have been updated yet. Do not worry, you are going to have money. We have done a very, very good job. So I'll be honest with you, probably I wouldn't say it's not the hardest I've done, because we've done stuff taken like Grimsby to Champions League winners, but I will say it is up there because we've had so many different generations of teams, different faces, different players, and super happy we got it done. My expectation was actually 7 to 8 seasons, so a little bit over what I thought, but it's fine. We've had fun. Hopefully the videos come out good as well. And if you have enjoyed, a like would mean the absolute world. Be sure to subscribe and definitely whack the bell on, because we're going to have rebuilds pretty much every day for FM26. So make sure you're also leaving your comments to what you want to see, because if they don't get done in this FM, they'll be first up for FM26. Enjoy the rest of your day. I'll catch you in the next one.